What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It's time for the Dudes in Blue, episode number 148. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me, as always,
Antonino. Dude, what's going on?
what's happening?
Nothing much. Still winless.
Still winless. But so I've got my Juventus kit on because I'm praying that Ajax doesn't embarrass Juventus tomorrow. So I'm trying to put out some good juju. And because we got UCL this week, which I'm really excited about.
Is it good juju or good yu-yu?
Good yu-yu. Oh, man, we've got a good show lined up for you guys. Obviously, we're going to talk about the next draw in NYCFC schedule against Minnesota United from Saturday night, opening up the Allianz beautiful stadium. We're going to go over that. We've got the far post. We got lots of MLS action to cover. We've got players that are kicking balls directly at fans' faces. We've got Champions League to talk about. We've got a giveaway. We've got, lots of stuff to talk about. And before we do, give us the follow, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are at Dudes in Blue. And if you're in the broadcast, smash the share button right now and the like button as well. What the hell? Keep that going. Dude, are you ready to kick this thing off?
Let's do it.
All right, let's say hi real quick to some of the faithful that have joined the broadcast on Facebook, and then we'll get into it. Felix saying, "Yer, Joey, what's going on?" Lalo is catching us on the commute back to Westchester on the Metro North. Stephen Berg saying hello. Eric saying, "Hey, dudes." Jamal. Andres, as always, Los Caballeros en Azul. All right, leave those comments. Let us know you're here hanging with us. We appreciate it. Dude, we're going to – we have a giveaway as well at the end of the show.
Yes, we do.
That's something that's happening. John Levin is checking in as well. All right, dude. Listen, we're gonna kick things off with the New York Groove. All right, it's time for the New York Groove. Let's talk NYCFC, dude. We didn't lose.
Yeah.
Can I just make a comment before we dive into the meat of this?
Yes.
Out of context.
Uh-huh.
Out of context, phenomenal result.
Yeah.
Out of context.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
In context of now only winning 4 games in 22 matches, it's a disaster.
Yeah. This is where I call this the compounding of the interest, so to speak. This is where you could have a good game with a not so good result, and all the previous results, tacking this on just adds on to those, and it still becomes one big disappointment. But all things considered, I think out of context, this is one of our better games. Offensively, passing was much better than what we've seen so far. You saw quite a bit of offense. And you saw a lineup that was really, as many people said, high risk, high reward. Dome talked about having 2 different systems come into play, and if they were to play 5 in the back or 4 in the back, depending on Minnesota's lineup, they wanted to match up well. I think that's always tough. I think it's a tough game to play when, like I always say, you're trying to play to another team's style versus trying to keep your own style. And I think that's where our identity crisis has come into play. I think we're trying to do too much every week based on who's coming in, rather than trying to focus on making something so powerful that other teams coming in have to worry about us. And I think that's the main difference between Patrick Vieira and Dome at this point. I think Patrick Vieira was very good at saying, this is what we're doing. We're doing it every single game, and we're going to do it until we do it right. And it ended up yielding results, albeit that you had a couple teams that were able to step up and understand how to play and figure out what it took to beat that system. But otherwise, that system got us into first and second, keeping us in the first 3 places of the season. So I think this is a little bit of an overthought from the coaching staff. I think they really just need to focus on one thing. But we keep seeing different looks, and of all the looks, Defensively, this one was really shaky and risky, but offensively, I mean, you created a lot of opportunities this game, and it was really fun to watch.
It was definitely an exciting game. I mean, like, listen, anytime there's 6 goals in the game when they're split, it's usually a
Fun
pretty
to watch, but not a good game.
No, again, out of context. This is a good result. A point on the road in Minnesota, opening up a brand new stadium. You know Minnesota was going to come at us, and you know they were going to have energy. They're going to have all those fans behind them. Walking away with a point on the road is good, right? But again, given everything else up to this point, and the way that we actually dropped the points also hurts a little bit as well, which we're obviously going to get into. But dude, it's very easy to start off with negatives, right? Because this team is
doing it for 6 weeks already.
Because we've been doing it for weeks. So I want to shift a little bit to the positive here.
Sure.
And the positive for me was Ismail Tajuri Shradi and Taty Castellanos. Now, this Taty Castellanos in particular, this for me was a breakout game for Taty. I just feel like he had such a great performance. It's what we've come to expect from him. But my question is, how much of it is having Maxi Morales on the field at the same time in that, and then also, playing as one of 2 strikers as opposed to a central striker? Like, why do you think Taty had such a good game?
I think Taty's got more of an opportunity up at the top this season so far, and he looked a little lost the first couple opportunities he's had. But last game, prior to this one, he actually played fairly well. He made good runs. He had opportunities. The statistics weren't there. I mean, the goals and the assists weren't there, but he had 2 or 3.
Didn't he pick up the assist for Shradi's goal?
No, last week. I mean.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yep.
Last week, he started off where he had opportunities, didn't come to fruition, but he still had a fairly decent game. But in my eyes, I thought it was much better than what we're used to seeing from him. I thought there was more. He was more decisive. I think his decision making, when he's confident enough in himself to either go for it or get rid of it, I think that's his biggest issue. And when he can figure that out, he's actually a fairly dangerous player. You saw the runs he was making and the chances he could create, not only for himself but for other players. It came to life in this game, and he was really dangerous. I mean, he was again, he wasn't roaming too far around the field. He kind of stayed in one central location, which was nice. And maybe that's an opportunity because you're playing with those 2 kind of strikers in the whatever crazy formation we threw out there. But again, I mean, he had plenty of opportunities. He capitalized on one, and it looked like he was building a little bit of relationship with Izzy on the wing there. So for me, that's something big that you have to play on. And if they don't play on that, I'm at a loss at this point, because that's just something that kind of has to happen. Now, you kind of got to stick with what's working. But to your point, how much of it is that and how much of it's Maxi? I think Maxi plays a huge part. And I think he's become that type of player that has allowed other players to use their creative freedom, because he is that central piece. Again, it's great that he's a catalyst on the offensive side of the ball, but I think that this team is far too frail, because just removing him, you see what the team looks like.
Totally unhinged. Yeah. But not only that, dude. But taking him out of the team, but also playing him in a place where he's not used to playing.
Yeah, you can see he's much, much better suited in the middle.
The second goal came out from him dropping back, not being a striker. The second goal was Maxi finding a beautiful run by Taty and laying it off to Tajuri. I mean, like that, it came out of that. The first goal was on a bad giveaway by Minnesota, where you had a great pass from Tinnerholm to Shradi and a great flick from Shradi to Taty and a fantastic touch and a finish from Taty. But at the same time, the goals are coming when Maxi's deeper, not when he's playing as your striker, as a target man in the box. It doesn't work.
That also affords Alex Ring the opportunity to not have to worry about getting so far up the field and tracking back. I think he can focus. he can focus more on the defensive side of the ball, which is nice, and he can focus on kind of creating space for Maxi to do his thing. This is very much a team that all the pieces kind of have to be moving in the right direction. But again, you take one of those pieces out, and I'm afraid that the wheels can come off fairly easily. So you got to keep these guys healthy until you can get some depth that you can kind of move interchange pieces that are 1 and 1A, so to speak.
Yeah. So, dude, moving on there though, the Tajuri sauce is back.
Yeah,
dear Lord, what happens when that man is able to create?
It's unreal, and he had a lot of space. That no look flick to Taty was just.
No, it's the other way around.
No, he kicked the ball over his own head.
The first, yes, the first
through
one.
Ball,
Yeah,
the through ball. That takes a special amount of skill. I mean, that was unbelievable. That goal was just like sewn together so beautifully, and it's those flashes of brilliance that give you hope.
Felix on Facebook says Furcus should be on a T-shirt. That's amazing.
You gotta say
Furcus.
You gotta say Furcus. I will never be able to not use that now.
That's amazing. Smash the like button for Furcus.
Furcus. Sounds like a tree.
Getting back to the task at hand here. The flick was fantastic. And then also his composure to finish his first goal, right? After a little bit of a rebound, a little bit of a crane kick there.
He went full Karate Kid on that.
Right? And then
he was Ralph Macchio.
And then Tajuri does what Tajuri does and scores with his left foot at the back post on a free kick that nobody touches. If somebody's in this broadcast that has access to stats, Roddy Russell, where the hell are you when we need you, my friend? I know you're going to Korea or something, but we need you here. I know Joey's a stat runner. Joey's a stat runner. If you're in the broadcast, we need to know what game did Tajuri Shradi score off the free kick when nobody touched it? Same spot from that far side. Amazing, dude.
Yeah,
amazing.
That was a good one. That's where the defense really doesn't help a keeper out by going for it and not committing. You get caught in that in between no man's land, and that's exactly what happens. And I mean, he's got such a great shot where it takes skill just to get the ball into that small space where you can create that doubt in the minds of the defenders and the goalkeeper. So kudos to him. I think he's earned himself a starting spot next game if he's healthy. I think Taty as well. I think Taty earned himself another start. I don't see how Hebert is going to be, fit for a full 90 minutes again, just because from travel and a week of training. I think he's still shy of 90, probably closer, I would say, to 60, if anything, which is nice because you can put him on in the first half if you had to, or you could start him and sub him out. But I would say Taty, I think, earned himself another start, especially because he got knocked. He got knocked out.
Yeah, that was scary, man.
And that was
scary.
That was scary. But to be able to get up and pop up and be like, all right, that's a good sign. But
if that was Matarrita, decapitation.
Not
gone.
Good.
Gone.
Sad to say, but yeah, I think those are your two breakout guys. Maxi did a great job. I think the defense was.
We got to talk about that. We got to shift. We got to shift to the negative, and I think first we just have to get it out of the way that Sean Johnson scored an absolute banger of a goal for Minnesota.
He's got as many goals as Matriza has.
He's got. Look, he was good. He went out on Twitter and pretty much apologized for that. Listen, it happens. It happens. This
is what happens when you've created a narrative of playing out of the back, and you do the same thing constantly, so many times in practice and during the game, that you very much, like anyone else at work who does the same task over and over again, you become complacent and you kind of put one foot a little too far in front of the other, and you lose focus, and that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. Sean Johnson's eyes were focused on the field of play, not watching the ball come in.
Ball. Yeah.
Because he's done it a million times
right.
where he uses the outside of his right boot to push the ball forward on like a 45-degree angle to get himself in space for the pass. And he didn't, losing your focus with not knowing what's behind you and not watching the ball come in. And again, the defense is not blameless on this. That ball from that distance with Minnesota players in front of Afori, that ball can't come back. That ball cannot.
Yeah, I mean,
that ball's got to go somewhere else.
That it's a bad play back from Afori, but again, ball came in so soft, man. It's still just.
But again, a situation that could have been avoided and should have been avoided, but it's not it's not taking away the chunk of blame from Sean Johnson. But it's sad to be in that situation. And even on the first goal, first of all, why is Tony Roca on this team? I'm sorry.
Hold on. I want to talk about the defensive issues in a minute. I want to get past the Sean Johnson thing because yes, I got some issues. I definitely got some issues. But just a couple of comments on here. Felix says #that's my Johnson though. I will always have his back. And Roger said he saved us so many games. He gets a pass. This is not. I am not like crapping on Sean Johnson like by any means.
People who are just ridiculous.
Right? I mean, look.
Tell me you've never seen an elite player, an elite goalkeeper put the ball in his own net. David De Gea has done it. Buffon has done it. Neuer's done it. They've all done it.
That's what Jamal is saying.
Get over yourself.
So, not that you could, necessarily put Sean Johnson in the class of Manuel Neuer or David De Gea or, maybe Karius.
Prime example.
Maybe Karius. But at any rate, I love Sean Johnson. Never take him out of goal. And all will be fine. He has saved our asses so many times.
He made a big save afterwards.
After that, exactly. So, to keep your composure and to still perform after making a mistake like that. I mean, it also helps that your team tied it up. That certainly helps. But to have the confidence to get back up off the ground and still perform to the level that he's accustomed to performing on the road with all those Minnesota fans behind him, he's still Sean Johnson. He's still our keeper. I am totally moving on from that. But that being said, what happened in front of Sean Johnson, though, is another story. So and let us know in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think we have to start really being concerned with defense again the way that we were our first couple of seasons? Because, dude, what the hell, man? Like, the goals that we gave up, the 2 goals we gave up, I mean, listen, Alonso's shot was absolutely amazing. Nobody's going to stop that. But he should not have had that opportunity. It was a poor clearance. There was nobody on him. At the top of the 6-yard box, he's not going to miss.
Well, it all starts with the giveaway from Roca. It's a given away right outside the area, and you put yourself you put your team in a bad situation in that spot. Alex Ring doesn't help with the poor clearance. And again, there's a wide open just opportunity to bang one home there. And it's a great shot, don't get me wrong. And not many keepers are going to stop that because, Sean Johnson had guys in front of him, so it kind of blocks the initial, point of impact with the shot. But you defensively, you can't, you got to be worried about that. And I'm not so worried about this game just because you're playing a completely different way. You're pressing much higher up the field, which is going to, give away a couple of chances like we saw, one of which was called back, luckily. I think the positive spot on defense is James Sands. James Sands has become an absolute animal. But when I think about the defensive woes, I think coaching has to be the first and foremost in player selection. You've got guys who can play the center back spot like Ben Sweat and
Ibeagha.
Ibeagha
played fine against Montreal last week.
Yeah, and he was fine all of last season. Last season. So
you put a guy who has no legs, who has no tried and true performance,
who couldn't crack the lineup with Orlando.
Right.
I'm
again, you got to put the blame on Dome for that. We created goals, but then this, come on.
Yeah, and
it's like he's figuring out pieces to different puzzles and trying to put them all together.
Yeah, and it's just not going to work that way. You got too many different pictures going on.
Furcus, man, Furcus.
He's got a Furcus. There's no Furcus.
Unbelievable.
It's sad.
Can I just make a point?
Go ahead. Yeah.
The 2 goals that Minnesota scored, and this is, again, talking about the defensive woes on this team, both of those goals came from the left side. Now, when you're playing 5 in the back or 3 in the back, depending on how the hell you want to figure it out if you're dumb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Monterita on that play?
Yeah.
Where's Monterita? We had such a weakness on that left-hand side. And to be honest with you, dude, Monterita was invisible to me the whole game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that I think the ball favored the side of Tajuri and Tennerholm.
Right,
for
but
sure.
not on defense.
No. But I think if you're going to play a 5 in the back where you can deploy those 2 wing backs and push them up the field, I think when Mata does that, I think his defense does lack a little bit. I think he gets a little tired. And you're right. You didn't really hear his name called, very much, if at all. Totally avoided that side of the field on offense, so he didn't get to shine. So why are you really putting him there in that situation? Why, let him play the defensive position and leave it at that. But again, that's tactics choice. And again, that was something that was high risk, high reward. You're pushing the guys up the line. You're taking 2 of your defenders and making them play offense, and you get what you get out of that. You had to know you're going to give up an on-man rush here or there. You have to hope for pulling a guy offside and getting in position and hoping that your keeper comes up big, which he did when he could. But when you're giving the ball away to the other team in middle, right in front of the goal, it's a little bit of a problem. I'm not super worried. I know our defensive players are they're better than they look. Right now you're missing Collins. You poor lineup choices.
But you had options. Options.
And that's not on the players on the field. I mean, if you're going to put guys that are subpar out there, you got to expect subpar results.
When has Domet played 5 in the back out the gate this year?
Last couple games, but it's not like it's a very warped thing because the last home game they had, they started. You had 3 guys in the back. You had Ibiaga, Chanel, and Ring playing back there. But those wing backs have the ability to come back and play and make it a 5, and Ring can come forward and it can become a 4. It's too much. I think it's too much movement. I think, like any sport that requires mechanics, the minute you start doing too much, whether it's a golf swing, a baseball swing, a pitch, it can alter things. And when you're doing too much movement on the field, I think you leave yourself open to being vulnerable. And not to mention, parts of the first half, you had guys running into each other and taking up too much of the same space on the field. I think they just got to pick something and stick to it. I think there's too much moving around.
Again, it comes down to not having that identity. It comes down to we don't know which way we're going to play. Like game to game, the lineup looks so damn different. It's impossible to tell. And this game was no different. I was not impressed at all by the way that he lined this team up. I mean, offensively, it was great. You love seeing 3 goals, right? Almost 4 if Taty didn't handle that with his arm. But nevertheless, I mean, there was definitely some positives to take away from this. The negatives, in my mind, unfortunately, kind of outweigh the positives in this case because we still have not won a damn game. It's now 6 matches. We have 5 points out of a possible 18. Like it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, and it's this compiling from game to game where the previous results are being tacked on to what's happening now and spoiling what is ultimately a pretty decent game, a fun game to watch. And it's upsetting. It really is upsetting because, again, if we had won 2 or 3 games so far and that happens, we're probably all much happier. But instead,
like
it's
I said,
just another
it's context,
tie.
man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Agree 100%.
It's all context. Anything else on the game, dude, before we get to the dude of the week? Because I do want to make a case for somebody this week for dude of the week, if we can do that.
Yeah, sure. As far as game goes, field was beautiful. Pitch, for having that much snow on it beforehand, I think the grounds crew there did a fantastic job. Super jealous of what they were able to
Of
accomplish,
course
even
we
though
are.
it's easier there. But I'm glad that I'm glad that we were able to come back with at least a point, just for the sake that it could have been bad. And I think if they lose that game, I think Sean Johnson's got a issue for the next couple of games ahead. So luckily that didn't happen. We got the point, and now we just try to build on it. I hope that we can take the positives and build on those and just try to keep with
We
what's
need a win,
working.
dude. We need a
Yeah,
win.
got to do it.
We need a win.
Got to have.
Let's move. And this weekend's not going to be any easier, dude. I mean, going to
No,
DC is not going to be easy.
no.
So, especially like you got Wayne Rooney back in the swing of things. You got it's not going to be pretty. I think especially going there, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy game. Let's move on to the dude of the week, dude, because this is going to be an interesting conversation, I think.
Sure.
Dude of the week. All right, if you're watching on Facebook, start getting those comments in. Let us know who you thought the dude of the week was. And this week, dude, I am going to give it to somebody within this game because I know dude of the week can be anybody from anywhere. But in this case, I want to stick to this game here, dude, because I kind of want to make the case, if I may, for James Sands. Now, James Sands played as a center back this game, essentially, right?
Right.
In a position where we really haven't seen him fully. Dude, over 90% pass accuracy, 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 clearances. This kid had a absolute monstrous game. And I don't think he's getting enough credit for what happened defensively because 3 goals went in. That's my case for James Sands. I want to know what you guys think. Let us know.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I know he's more of a natural center back, which is nice, which means you've been seeing him play somewhat out of position when he's in the midfield, and he's been doing exceptionally well. But when you talk about a kid that's earned his minutes and earned more minutes for this season, it's unbelievable. He has been fantastic, and this game was I think it showed you just exactly how good he can be. But again, I think you look at a guy like Izzy, who had a lot to prove, who was
Right.
bad-mouthed about not bad-mouth, I use that, I don't mean it that heavily, but talked about his training habits and things that were happening in training that were keeping him off the field in the starting lineup. I think he pretty much just shut everybody up. The passes were crisp, the runs were good. And the goals. I mean, it's 2 goals and an assist is above and beyond for
Sure.
a lot of players in my book. So
especially considering the way he's been playing with the minutes that he's had.
yeah, I think for me, I think gets team of the week, rightfully so. So I could see how you can go that way. I think because Sands has been so good the last couple weeks, I'm kind of leaning towards Izzy a little bit more.
Yeah,
but it's not by much.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're looking at what ultimately led to the result, Shradi had his hand in every single goal, right? So a direct hand, an assist, and 2 goals. I mean, that's, like you said, that is going above and beyond certainly what the Call of Duty requires of him. But I'm okay with that. I mean, we have votes for Sands in the comments. We've got votes for Taty. We've got votes for Izzy. But I think when it comes down to just numbers, you can make the case. I'm telling you, I want to see James Sands get it. But I guess, at the end of the day, Shradi put the ball in the net. Shradi created the opportunities. And for him, it makes the most sense for me.
Yeah. It's good. That's a good problem to have, in my opinion. If you can argue,
we've been kind of dry lately.
Yeah, if you can make good arguments for 2 to 3 players, which this game you pretty much can, you're going to talk about more positive results than negative. I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ismail Shradi gets dude of the week for episode 148.
There you go.
Congratulations. Welcome back to the scoring side. Now let's hope Dome sits you out for the next 2 weeks because something Dome ate for breakfast didn't agree with him. I don't know. Like, dude, are you going to be surprised?
I don't even know what to expect.
Are you
anymore.
gonna be surprised?
I just can't. I mean, I'll tell you how unsurprised I would be. Last home game, the team posted a lineup, and if you all remember, they had duplicates of like 6
they had
different
Lewis
players.
on the field and Lewis on the bench. It was great.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that was accurate. At this point, it would not surprise me. I cannot pick who I want to play, so I put them on the bench and on the field.
This is amazing.
That's another thing that bothers me a lot. And it's not an answer type thing, but to say that the team played amazing, I don't think they played amazing. I don't think everything can be amazing.
Anytime you let in 3 goals, it's not amazing.
It's not amazing. I think the offense and the passing was much better.
Way better.
But I think you're still probably firing on 65% rather than, in the 90s where you should be. So that, my friend, is not amazing.
It's not amazing. It's the most important thing. Can I just say one more thing, not due to the week related, but before we get on to the far post and talk about other stuff, I'm a little disappointed. No, I'm not a little disappointed. I'm a lot disappointed with Alexandru Mitrița. We didn't talk about this in the New York Groove, but I have to point out, $8.5 million man, 1 goal in 6 appearances. 1 goal and an assist in 6 appearances. I have to. Okay, sorry. Is Mitrița performing to the standards that we expect 6 matches in?
To the eye test, very good dribbler. The ball is, he keeps the ball close to him. I think his decision making could be much better. I think he's had 2 opportunities where he scored on one of them, but he had 2 opportunities to lay off the ball to somebody who would have had a much easier chance to score. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care how you contribute as long as you do contribute. And to me, right now for the eye test, I'm seeing a little bit more of a ball hog than I am a team player. And it's not, and it's no fault to him. I think it's more the fact that the first couple games he really didn't play with anybody that could kind of read the way he was playing, and I think that's going to take time. But right now, to me, I think you've got to be able to find guys in the middle of the field because you can beat defenders. We know you can, but it's what you do afterwards, and you can't be taking shots from the touch line or the end line and expecting them to go in. I think he's got to build a rapport with whoever's playing with him up at the top. And they'll be fine. But if you're going to keep seeing him trying to do too much on his own, I think it's going to be detrimental. And
how many more games do you give the guy to figure things out? I mean, dude, come on.
It's tough. I think you didn't see too much at it. You didn't see too much from him either. But I'm hoping that after 5 or 6 games where you kind of have a steady lineup, he'll be able to figure it out. But from what I'm seeing so far,
dude, his passing stats are atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, he likes to. Dude,
52% against Montreal, 71% against Toronto, 56% against LAFC. He had a good game against DC United, 68% against Orlando. I mean,
I just think he needs for where he's going to play. You have to be able to distribute the ball.
Come on,
and he's not doing it well enough to warrant him holding the ball longer than he should, which we've seen. I mean, he's been holding onto the ball for far too long and losing it. That has to get better, and that's not on the coach. That's
you can't put that on him.
Yeah, that's on the players. So you've got to see more from him. And for the love of God, I'm sorry, but Jesus Medina, you've got to go to at this point.
That's in one of the Instagram questions.
He's terrible.
That's in one of the Instagram questions.
He is absolutely awful. He has no sense of what he's doing on the field. I'm not even going to go there because we're just eating into I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I refuse. I refuse to waste my energy on someone who doesn't get it.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right, listen. Let's quickly take a trip around the country looking at MLS, and then we'll get more angry about NYCFC stuff and give away a pretty awesome giveaway and do all that stuff. Let's get into the far post here. The far post. Okay, guys, it was a really busy MLS week. Real quick, dude, let's give a rundown and then maybe talk about a couple of the highlights before we move on to more NYCFC related shenanigans. Tuesday, scoreless DC Montreal, another scoreless game for Montreal, but they wound up actually scoring a goal. Oh no, they didn't actually. No, wait, Montreal did wind up scoring a goal, beating Columbus on the weekend 1-0. Chicago 1-1 with Vancouver on Friday. Houston 2-1 over San Jose. San Jose's woes just keep growing. But here's the thing, dude, and here's what's crazy, and this is kind of nuts. Houston Dynamo unbeaten this season.
Tommy McNamara have anything to do with this?
I wish
he doesn't. But maybe his presence is just just strong enough.
It's enough. Like, who the hell saw that? Like, Houston Dynamo, and they're young. They're a young team. Their new coach is bringing in young players. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Listen, you can't really ask for much more than that, to be honest with you. You really can't.
So Sounders still flying high, 3-2 over TFC. Josie Altidore picked up a brace that game though, so Josie is scoring again, which is good for Toronto. Atlanta finally got their first win over the New England Revolution. Dude, what is happening to the Revs? They can't even win at Gillette Stadium. This is a problem.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I mean, they really lost one of their firecrackers in Lee Win last season, right?
I believe it was last season, LAFC, yeah.
And things just really haven't been the same since. I think when a player's that unhappy, I think it puts a damper on everyone. And I think everyone can kind of relate to that. And if you don't think the best players can get fed up at the best clubs, you're wrong. Not to say that New England's a great club, but he was a pretty good player for them. And he just got tired of it. I'd be tired of losing every season too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. And this league, I tell you what, this league is crazy. How you can go from worst to first, or from heroes to zeros, very, very easily. And this season and the last couple seasons with look at Chicago a few seasons ago. They were in last place and ended up challenging in the top 4, top 5. Atlanta winning last year, and now they're at the bottom of the table. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. Again, it's manufactured parity. That's what MLS is. It's you never know who the hell's going to take it on any given day or any given season. It's just the way that it goes. Just keep rolling along here, dude. LAFC still flying incredibly high, 2-0 over Cincinnati. Carlos Vela again, Golden Boot leader right now, absolutely freaking killing it. LAFC is the team to watch this season.
Scary good. And then, let me tell you, their fans are
nuts.
Unbelievable. If you can and you haven't seen, go watch footage of their supporter section. Their supporter section is almost a quarter of the stadium, and they rock.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Really, really fun. And that's a fun atmosphere to watch a game in. And if I had to pick any place to go watch a game right now, I would definitely be going there to watch it. The atmosphere's got to be intense.
Absolutely. Dude, Galaxy 2-0 over the Union. Both goals scored by Zlatan himself. One was a classic Zlatan header where he just used the defender as a ladder and got over him. And the second was a PK. So Zlatan back in scoring duty. I mean, it's to be expected from the guy. The guy's an absolute animal. And then finally, dude, the last game of the weekend, Sporting Kansas City hosting the New York Red Bulls in a 2-2 draw. Now, the game itself, not necessarily the talking point. The talking point is the stupidity of Kaku getting frustrated in the 93rd, 94th minute and booting a ball into the stands, striking a fan in the face, ultimately resulting in a red card. I'm waiting for MLS's disciplinary committee email for the press release to come out to find out what the hell's going to happen to this guy. But, dude, completely despicable. I don't care who you are, what team you are. You do not endanger a fan out of frustration. Forget like out of frustration. Just in general, let alone because the call didn't go your way or whatever the hell happened.
Yeah, that's bad news. I mean, you're aware that the balls can fly into the stands. You're not expecting a player to directly kick one from 15 feet away from you into your face. I don't care how remorseful you are. That is something that's stupid. That's dangerous.
He was laughing. He was laughing when he was given the red card. Give me a break.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on board with that. I've seen guys punt the ball straight up in the air, kick the ball into the net. That's fine.
Kick it into the advertising boards. You've seen that a lot. You see that a lot.
Well, that's what he wanted to do.
No. I don't think so. Dude, you are a trained professional soccer player. You want to kick the ball into the advertising board, you kick it into the – dude, he struck that ball as hard as he freaking could directly into the crowd.
Yeah, I don't even if you are picking advertising boards, I think that's a dangerous game to play
man.
too.
It's reckless endangerment.
Yeah,
if he hit a kid, if he hit a child.
I don't know. Have you ever been hit with one of those
they're
professionally inflated balls?
They're so inflated.
They hurt. They hurt when it's not kicked hard.
Unbelievable.
And I've hit with one in training. Trust me, it's not pleasant. But you're right. If a kid's sitting there and he takes that to the face, I mean, you could really hurt somebody.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
That's just it's not called for. It's stupid and shame on Red Bull for putting out a notice. We're unhappy with the end. The incident at the end of the game. Didn't name the player. They know who did it. They saw who did it. It was clear as daylight. Own it. Own up to it, but not using the guy's name or saying what happened. I think you're kind of watering it down at that point. An incident could have been anything. Anyone who doesn't know, knows that that's a bigger thing than an incident. It's just stupid.
So dumb. Dude, listen, we're running out of time here because this is a perfect segue into a very quick ants rants. Let's do it because I know you got one like in the chamber ready to go.
Always.
It's time for ants rants. Okay, dude, what's pissing you off this week? I got a feeling it's something that we just recently talked about.
It's gonna be a two. I think it's gonna be a 2-part thing. First part, we'll stick with that Kaku narrative. You had Luis Robles talking about, Kaku was completely remorseful and he was sorry. That would have been fine. And then he opens up his stupid mouth and says something to negate all of that nice. And he says, that's what you get for sitting in the front row. Are you out of your damn mind? Are you serious? Nowhere on my ticket in the front row does it say, player will kick ball in your face. It doesn't say that. A ball could fly into the crowd. I expect that's going to happen. But for a player to be standing 15, 20 feet away from you and deliberately put you in harm's way, that's not what you pay for. I'm sorry. Front row is nice and all, but, you never expect a shot to be taken at you when you're sitting on the sideline.
Dude, that's like an outfielder. I don't mean to interrupt your answer here, but that's like an outfielder just taking a ball and just ripping it at somebody's face into the stands.
Like, imagine where we sit, and Aaron Judge catches a fly ball,
it just
then turns and throws it directly into my face.
That's not pay attention for balls and bats. That's intent to harm. That's what that is. That is a crime.
Like beware of designated player.
Unbelievable. Oh, God.
Just stupid. And Luis Robles, you get the Jackass of the Week award.
Hey!
Open your stupid mouth.
That could be a new thing.
You're not worse than Felipe for me, so there you go. Second part, John Champion. Is that who I'm talking about? Okay.
Oh yes.
Dude, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure you're broadcasting an MLS game with MLS teams. You probably shouldn't talk down upon them or down about them because you're not doing the league any service. And I would be surprised if you don't get reprimanded or not be allowed to call MLS games anymore. Referring to us as a Manchester City feeder club, a junior team. I'm sorry, bro. That's unacceptable. You are a professional in the media. You're working for ESPN. You do not make comments like that. That's a big no-no. You can say what you want about our team, the way they're playing, the coach, that's fine. But the minute you go into that, it's just bad for business. It's almost as bad as like you promoting a product and saying that, yeah, I never really use it though. Like Crest toothpaste. It's fantastic.
I'm sure.
I prefer Sensodyne, but this one's pretty good too. It's just stupid. You don't make comments like that. It's asinine. I personally, you shouldn't be allowed to do anything with the league after that. It's uncalled for. We all know. We've heard all that. I think the last thing you need is abuse from someone who's supposed to be a neutral party. That's not neutral. That's really derogatory, in my opinion. And you know what? Sometimes being a feeder club isn't really a bad thing because you're going to have a lot of talent pass through. And if you can get the constant talent pass through every season, you're going to have a good team every year. But you're downgrading the league by calling it a feeder club, and really not that, because how many of our players have played any minutes with Man City?
Yeah. Jack Harrison did play preseason with Man City.
Again, 0 minutes. There you go. So I'm sorry.
I got to put it out there. We saw Jack Harrison in a Man City kit.
Yeah, that's fine. But again, you're not. There's not 9 guys that have been taken from us to go there. They're all on loan, and it's stupid. So the moron of the week goes to John Champion.
All right, so Jackass goes to Luis Robles. I think he should split the award with Kaku. And, yeah, there you go. I love it. All right, great. Dude, moving on. Before we wrap up the show with our rapid-fire Q&A, we do have a giveaway. Guys, we have a giveaway this week. We didn't do one last week, but we have one this week. Dude, you're like, I feel like Bob Barker, like, show him what they're going to win, Johnny. Like, all right, what do we got this week?
Well, it's not a new car.
All right, well.
It's not a used car either, but I was able to pick up a couple of...
Before you say that, Andre says, can we all just admire how beautiful Ant looks with that jersey?
Yeah, you know what's the real bad thing, the real issue I'm having right now is that this jersey is very dark, and my beard is very dark. So if I keep my face here, neck. I look like I'm wearing a turtleneck up to my cheeks. And it's not good. I have to kind of like prop myself up here, so you can see I actually have a neck.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there, yeah, it's there. It's this beard's getting unruly right now.
All right, what do we got? What are we giving away? Come on.
I'm giving away this week a beautiful David Villa autographed 8x10 photo.
That is sexy.
One of my favorite goals too. This is that corner kick that Pirlo took. I think it was first year.
It was. No, it was the second year. Second year. Can I say something about that goal?
What's up?
I remember in 2016 when that game, exactly when that goal happened.
Because
I was not at that game.
You were not.
That was the only game I missed in 2016, and the reason why is because that game took place on April 30th, the day that my son was born. I watched that on TV in the hospital, and I lost my mind.
Yep, that's right.
It was against the Vancouver Whitecaps at home. Pirlo corner kick, David Villa scissor. Absolutely beautiful.
So we have a nice 8x10 here, autographed by El Capitan. So this will be going out to whoever does whatever Joe says. Dance, monkey, dance.
That's right. All right, guys, listen, all you got to do is comment and share on the live video feed on Facebook. So if you're listening on the pod and you want to win this beautiful autographed David Villa signed picture, it's a beaut. It's an absolute beaut. Go to the Facebook video, comment, leave a comment, and share the video. So the live feed for episode number 148, that's all you got to do, and you'll be in it to win it. It's an awesome one. I'm looking forward to that. That's beautiful. That's nice. That's beautiful. Listen,
we've got some really good stuff. We've given away a team signed ball, a couple autographed cards. I mean, what will we think of next?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good. It's good. All right, dude. Let's wrap up this show with a couple of rapid fire Q&A question things from the Instagram, and I might pick a couple from Twitter if I have time. Okay, dude. So, are we ready to do this?
Fire.
Guys, if you don't know the rules, I'm going to read the question, give an answer, and Anthony's got to answer really quick too. So, Jamal on Instagram says, do you prefer pizza or steak? I love pizza, but man, a good steak. I just had one actually tonight, and
I'm gonna go.
I love steak.
I'm gonna go pizza.
What?
I'm gonna go pizza. Just listen. Hear me out. The easiest thing. If I've got $30, I can get maybe one good steak. $30, I can get like 3 pies.
Come on, man.
It's fantastic. I'm just a big pizza guy. I love pizza, as you can clearly see.
Come on. All right. Eric Martin on Eric7 Martin on Instagram says, I think the 4-2-3-1 in the second half is just what NYCFC needs to win. What is your ideal formation? Dude, I love a good old-fashioned 4-3-3. I like having a holding midfielder with 2 creative midfielders, a left and right winger, and a number 9 right up top ready to poach and score some goals. That's for me.
Call me crazy. I like the 4-1-2-1-2.
The FIFA formation.
Yeah, I like that. I like that very much. I like the fact that it kind of in a wide one at that with a left and right midfielder. I just think I like the fact that you kind of got a little diamond shape in the middle. You got your defensive midfielder who can do a lot and help out the back line. You got your center attacking midfielder that can help out the 2 forwards. And your wingers who can pretty much do the work. That's just I like the way that I like the versatility that brings.
Yep, I got you, dude. This name rocks on Instagram says best food to eat at Yankee Stadium. You gotta go chicken bucket. I mean, for $22,
yeah.
I'm going chicken bucket.
Yeah, if you want to get heart disease, go for it.
Okay, I'm good with it. Are we keep moving here? NYCFC Empire says Medina to start more? ? Hell no.
Why is that even a question?
Do you even need to answer it?
No. Start more. Start more what? Start more sitting on the bench?
That's right. Henry Hop 123 on Instagram says, "Are you guys planning on going to any of the away games this season?" At this point, I'm not planning any, but possibly.
Again, getting married kind of puts the kibosh on all that goodness, but there's always a possibility for a quick road trip, depending on what the schedule holds.
Just a couple more from Twitter, dude, before we wrap this show up.
Do it.
Roddy Russell, good old Roddy Russell on Twitter says, how long do you think Kaku will be suspended for after kicking the fan in the face with the ball? I'm going to say 10 games.
That's a bit drastic. I don't think you can do that just for the simple fact that there's not that many games in the season. I mean, he's already got a red card, so he's not playing next game. I'm gonna go with 2. He's gonna get a 2-game suspension.
Gotcha. Okay. NYCFCist on Twitter says, in Dome's interview, he makes a good point that Hebert isn't match fit as he hasn't played a full 90 minutes since December. So what timeline do you think we should expect to see him at 100%? I'm going to say by the first week of May.
That's a fair assessment. I would say another 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, first, second week of May.
Amanda on Twitter says, how devastated for Sean Johnson were you? I thought that he was not going to be able to sleep that night.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, we looked at it. We were watching the game together for the first time in a while, and it was like we were like, no, and it's just I think we would have felt worse if they lost, but at the same time,
still pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Still pretty bad. That wraps up our rapid fire Q&A section of the show. Dude, this was great. This was a good episode. If you want to win the David Villa autographed 8x10, leave a comment and share the live feed. Episode 148, Facebook. Go to facebook.com/dudesinblue and share and comment on the 148 live video if you want to win that beautiful 8x10. It gives you a nice little chance there to win. We're going to be back here Monday night live on Facebook at 8 p.m. after the weekend. We've got NYCFC making the trip to Allianz Field to take on DC United. That's on Sunday, on Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We've got UCL this week, dude. I'm kind of sweating here because both of my teams are kind of in the hot seat. Juventus going 1-1 on aggregate, and Man City down 1-0 to Tottenham. But I think Man City's going to be able to pull it out. The Juve is going to be a tricky one, though.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But definitely 2 games to watch because they're a lot of fun. Both games have these 2 games I think are gonna have a lot of action.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us for episode 148. We'll be back on Monday night and Tuesday for the pod. But until next time, stay
Hey, Blue.